Thought Media Network and the Universal Joy Center are proud to bring you The Joy Show. One voice, one story, infinite inspiration. Join your host, Barbara Jean, every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time or 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Tune in live or watch anytime on youtube.com/@UJOYC. The Joy Show with Barbara Jean. The perfect way to get inspired on Friday afternoons. Only on New Thought Media Network. And please like, share, and subscribe. And now, let's join Barbara Jean on The Joy Show.
Good afternoon and welcome to The Joy Show, where being your authentic self is celebrated. Joy being an acronym for just one you, unique and special like everyone else. Well, I am so excited today because this is Pride Month and we're going to be doing our Pride show today. So fully you, pride, purpose, and the beauty of being unique, fully human, fully divine, fully you. Well, let us begin with our land acknowledgement. I wish to acknowledge this land on which the Universal Joy Center operates and the land in which the New Thought Media Network operates as well. And for thousands of years, it has been the traditional territory of many indigenous peoples, registered and unregistered, who have shared this land. So we honor the enduring presence, wisdom, and stewardship of indigenous peoples, past, present, and emerging. And as we gather online, we honor the many indigenous nations and territories across this land that are joining us today or may not be joining us, but who are taking care of this land and have for so many years, both for Canada and for the United States. So today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and play on this land. All right, so let us dig right in here. I want to share a story with you as we start. A kindergarten teacher noticed that the children, when they were grabbing crayons, would choose different ones. Somebody chose purple, another wanted green, somebody else wanted orange, somebody else wanted black. So the teacher smiled and said, if every one of you only used blue, we wouldn't have a picture. We'd have a page. So the masterpiece happens because every color was allowed to show up exactly as it was. So the world needs the whole box of crayons, and you are one of those colors. So every one of us makes up this incredible tapestry that is humanity. And that is very, very cool. So Toronto, where I'm from, is alive this month with Pride celebrations, with millions of people gathering to celebrate love, diversity, resilience, and the right to live openly and authentically. Pride Toronto celebrates the stories, talents, and achievements of the 2S LGBTQ+ communities and reminds us that every person deserves to be seen, valued, and celebrated. So today's message is simple. You were never meant to be anyone else. Your uniqueness is not a problem to solve, and it is your gift to the world. Did you ever think of it like that? So Pride, of course, began as resistance. It emerged because people became tired of hiding who they were and decided instead to stand up and declare, I exist, I belong, I matter. So everything that we do here on New Thought Media and everything we do at the Universal Joy Center is about celebrating humanity. It's about acknowledging the uniqueness, the gifts of each and every one of us, and how it is that we show up in the world to be, the best that we can be. And the only way that we can do our best is to honestly come from our true essence. So yeah, it isn't just a pride message. This is an everyday message. It's a human message. Each and every one of us. People want three things: to be seen, to be loved, and to belong. I think we can all relate to that. So the tragedy is that many of us spend years trying to earn belonging by becoming someone else. We shrink ourselves, we edit ourselves, and we apologize for ourselves. And I know that I did this for most of my life. And, oh, sorry, my little nose is acting up. So when we look at life, I mean, think about when you go on a first date and you make sure you do everything perfectly. You know, your hair has to be right, your clothes have to be right. And in fact, you might even go shopping for the right outfit. And you show up wherever it is you're meeting, and you make sure that, you know, you use the right fork if you're at a restaurant, or maybe you know, some women, I don't know if I've ever done this, but I know some who will go out for a big fancy dinner and they'll order a green salad. Why do that? Eat, be you. So, this talk today is really about celebrating your uniqueness and allowing yourself to show up as who you really, really are. And so, we have really become experts at fitting in while secretly longing to be known, right? So, fitting in is exhausting. Belonging is liberating. Yeah. So belonging happens the moment we decide. No one else can decide this. This is who I am, and I no longer need permission to exist. So I'm bringing this up today because, of course, when it comes to Pride, Pride Month, you know, we're celebrating the LGBTQ plus uh, community, and by doing that, we're really talking about humanity truly, because all of us exist regardless of our sexuality. All of us are special, important, unique, regardless of our sexuality, our religion, our nationality, the color of our skin, or whatever we think may separate us. So I just want to take a moment for myself to say, you know, when I think about my own life, I've been many things. A pregnant teenager. Yeah. Back in the very early 70s. Yeah. Back then it was really bad. I was a single parent many, many times, many, many years. I've struggled. I've experienced violence. I've lost people. I lost friends to AIDS. I lost friends to alcoholism. I've lost friends to cancer. We've lost people, and I've lost family. But I was somebody who had to rebuild again and again and again. But I think I'm doing okay right now. So there were moments when I thought if I could just be someone different, life would work out. And so healing began when I stopped asking, how can I become someone else? You know, I remember looking at somebody who was, you know, tall and blonde and fabulous and thinking, oh, I wish I looked like her. Or somebody who's really, really smart and going, oh, I wish I could do math like them, or write like them. We've all done these things on occasion, or at least I think most of us have. So we want to make sure that we stop doing that we take the time to start asking the question, who have I always been beneath the fear? If I wasn't afraid of being seen, like, who would I be? Would I need to pretend in front of the in laws? Would I scurry around and clean my house before my mom comes to visit? Right? None of us want to be judged or criticized or whatever. But of course, there is a lot of judgment that goes on in our world. So we, we want to sit back and begin to live in a fully accepted way within ourselves. So just think about this for a minute. The divine never made a mistake. Okay? So think about the universe, massive, creative, brilliant, intelligent, the universe. It's not broken or flawed. Human beings may behave that way, but that doesn't mean we are. So the divine never made a mistake, not with your personality, not with your story, not with your dreams, and not with your identity. Spirit created you intentionally. Spirit created you intentionally. And I want you to really think about that. If you were created intentionally, doesn't that mean there's something about you that is important for us now at this time in this world? Do you think it might be possible that you are essential in every way to the unfolding of the universe at this time? Makes sense, doesn't it, when you think about that? So, in New Thought, we say that spirit is infinitely creative. Now, if you look around, you'll notice that no two fingerprints are alike, no two snowflakes are alike, no two sunsets are alike. So, if spirit suddenly decided to mass produce human beings, it doesn't make sense that they would all be alike. So, diversity is not evidence of separation, it is evidence of divine creativity. Every person is a unique expression of infinite life. So, you're a spirit having a one time only experience called you. There's never been another you, there never will be another you. You are unrepeatable. Now, when you think about that, that should humble us and it should inspire us. And when we think about all of the people on the planet and we think about some of the most incredible things that happen and how they happen and when and why, and we ask a lot of questions about these things, but we don't necessarily just sit with them and go, wow, life is unfolding in ways that I didn't really expect, or maybe I created a plan and then that plan didn't manifest the way that I thought it should or could or would. And so I'm sitting back going, hey, check with him. What's what? You know, what's going on? What's happening? Uh-oh, with JJ. What's so I got a story for you. Imagine if flowers behaved like people, right? The daisy says, oh, I wish I were a rose. And the rose says, I wish I were an orchid. And the orchid said, I wish I were a sunflower. Eventually, nobody blooms because everyone is busy trying to become someone else. Nature doesn't do that. The sunflower simply turns toward the light. The rose simply blooms. The daisy simply dances in the breeze. So maybe spiritual maturity looks a lot like stop competing, stop comparing, and just bloom. Be you. Just be you. Just one you. Yeah. I think sometimes we just forget about the brilliance, the importance, the magnificence that is life. We forget how important each one of us is. We forget about the journey that we walk and the way we've been created. And I think it's time to remember. And I don't think it's important that we listen to every person around us who's judging or criticizing or telling us how we should be. And we definitely don't want to listen to ourselves going, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I always think of shoulds as no's. No, I'm not doing that. So I want to invite you to answer this question. What is one thing about you that you've spent years trying to hide, but now realize it is actually one of your gifts? Think about that for a second. Just ask JJ if you can hear him. Maybe it's your sensitivity. Maybe it's your queerness, your introversion, your compassion, your boldness, your weird sense of humor. I got one of those. Your way of seeing the world. Perhaps the thing you thought made you too much, it actually what was made you extraordinary. Extraordinary. Did you know that you are extraordinary? You are. You are extraordinary. So I want you to just take a moment and place your hand on your heart. I'll try not to cover the mic. And take a breath. And repeat after me. I am enough. I belong. I do not need permission to be myself. I own uniqueness. I celebrate the uniqueness of others. I allow myself to bloom exactly as I am. Mm, 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 mm. How beautiful is that? And if we begin to tell ourselves things like that all the time, imagine what life would be like. And I know, um, many people, and whether you're queer or straight or whatever your personal story is, if you can sit back and allow yourself to remember. I remember when years ago I had a little thing on my fridge, a little flyer, and it was a picture of a little boy. And underneath it, it said, God doesn't make junk. Think about that. Every one of us created unique and special. Every one of us created extraordinary. Extraordinary. Have you ever thought of yourself as extraordinary? I think sometimes we don't think about that. We think about the ways that we missed something, how we made a mistake. Maybe we think we're too fat or too tall or too skinny or too loud or too something. But what if we're not? What if we're not? What if the way that we're created is actually okay? In fact, not only okay, but perfect. Absolutely perfect. That who we are is enough. Last month, I was teaching a class called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And in that class, we explored what it would mean to really love you as you are, where you are, without hesitation or reservation, but to really just love yourself. And one of the exercises that I gave to my students was to look in the bathroom mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I really love you. Imagine doing that. In fact, when this show's over, or maybe during the commercial break, run to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and do that very exercise. I love you. I really love you. And in fact, put your name in there. I love you, Barbara. I really love you. So when you do this, when you begin to talk to yourself in this way, you begin to own more of who you really are. And it's powerful and it's profound and it's really, really remarkable. And the other so imagine you're going on a first date and you're running around and buying new clothes and putting some perfume on or some aftershave and you know combing your hair just right and dressing up perfectly, and in your mind you're like, I would wonder if they'll like me. Oh no, did I remember to, oh, I've got the wrong shoes. Oh, what if, oh darn, this dress is a little bit too snug. Oh goodness, what if, what if? You know what technically follows the what if more than anything else is some kind of negative statement. What if they don't like me? What if they do like me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I order the wrong thing on the menu? What if I order something too pricey? Are they going to pay or am I going to pay? They invited me, so they should be paying, but maybe they think we're going Dutch. So we tend to ramble through these questions sometimes in a way that really can cause us a lot of grief in the long run because we're showing up not as who we are, not relaxed and comfortable, but wearing a mask that I'm trying to figure out what would be acceptable to you, and then that'll be the mask that I put on. And it's not that we're trying to, um, lie to somebody or pretend we're somebody we're not. That's not it. We're trying to be acceptable. We're trying to belong. We're trying to be loved or liked. Yeah. I mean, think about those things that I mentioned at the beginning of today's talk. It's like, who am I anyway? And what am I trying to do or to be? And can I just stand up and be myself? I exist. I belong. I matter. Those are three things that all of us want. And we don't want to have to do anything in particular to fix ourselves. So that's a good one. Okay, fix it. Yeah, fixing. Because you know what? A lot of people come into the teaching that I do because they think they need to be fixed. They think they're broken. They're not. They're not broken. They don't need fixing. The only thing that we need is to discover who we really are at the depth of our being, at the core of who we are. Can we simply celebrate ourselves? Can we simply be us? Now, you might ask the question, well, I thought I was doing that. But I want you to think about your self-talk a little bit. Let's say you're going to meet the mother-in-law or father-in-law for the very first time. And, as a queer person, you might feel a little uncomfortable wondering, do they know? Can they guess? Did my, friend tell them? There might be a lot of questions in your mind. For everybody else or anybody else, it might be more a question of, will they like me? Am I dressed appropriately? Am I wearing the right thing? Should I have done something different? Should I be different? Oh, I wish I was thinner. All of this self-talk that goes on in the background is really nothing. It really is that chatter that doesn't serve. It's chatter that doesn't actually mean anything. It is a bunch of stuff that totally comes from who knows where, whether it's something our parents said when we were younger or who knows. But there's just a lot of stuff that rambles through our mind. And if we could just stop it for a minute and ask ourselves what really matters. Can I just be me? Can I simply be me? What if being me was okay? Now, not everybody's going to like you. That's just the reality. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Some are not going to like you, and some will. Some are going to love you. The key is to spend your time with those who are okay with you. Okay? The ones that make you smile, the ones that bring you joy. Those are the people you want to hang with. Those are the people you want to spend time with. So it's not just about the pride message, although that's a really important one. And especially in the news these days, there's so much talk about transgender people, and I think we want to open our hearts. You see, we can only give what we have. And if we block ourselves down from being loving and accepting, compassionate and kind, what happens is we close ourselves off from receiving those things as well. We have to be open. It's really an important part of the human journey. And I think one of the things that, I've talked about often is that being human, being here right now, means that there's a reason why I'm here. And if I accept that there's a reason why I'm here, maybe I can begin to look within myself to figure out what it is that I'm meant to do or be in order to experience the fullness of my life. And you might think about the same thing for yourself. What is it you would need to do or be in order to fully express your divine nature? I love that song. What's it called? Isn't that terrible? I think of something and then it goes out. Sort of a dance like nobody's watching kind of thing. I wish I could dance. So it's one of those things where if we would just be free, like I love watching people who feel free, who'll walk down the street singing loudly because it's their favorite song on their headphones. They don't care who's listening. Or you're driving in your car and you're singing your tunes, you got the windows rolled down and somebody pulls up beside you and you reach over and roll your window up. Why? They don't want to hear you. They can roll their window up, is my thought. The key is we want to be who we are. We want to learn how to celebrate the divinity within us, begin to live from our wholeness rather than our brokenness, and begin to tell stories that are the truth rather than the ones we think people want to hear. Yes, we sometimes do that, don't we? All right. Well, we're going to take a quick little commercial break, and then we're going to be right back with more of The Joy Show here on the New Thought Media Network. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a minute.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
Come be you. What a great phrase. Love that. Don't you love my green backyard? Yes, spring is here, and I'm so happy to be able to be outside again, enjoying the weather and being able to share these beautiful surroundings with you. So one of the things I mentioned a little bit earlier is that fitting in is exhausting. I don't know if you've noticed that, but sometimes we're just trying so hard to be accepted that we're not really enjoying our experience. We go somewhere and we're worried about what people think or what they might say or what they might do. And as a result of that, we're not really having a good time. So we want to pay attention to that. We want to allow ourselves to show up Okay, so in my family, we have queer folk in my family. Yes, we do. Myself being one. My daughter, Genevieve, her partner, JJ, another friend who lives here, Charlie, my son, Rye. The, the journey to wholeness isn't about pretending you're somebody you're not. The journey to wholeness is loving yourself enough to stand up for who you are and to show up as you are. Now, not everybody's going to like it, and sometimes it may not seem safe. So you do have to, maybe watch where you are and what you're doing sometimes. But the reality is that each and every one of us matters. And we're here with something remarkable to do in our lifetime. And we need to find out what that is. But the only way to find out is to really be honest and truthful with ourselves. One of the things I learned a long time ago was that the gifts that we have, the ones that are particular to us, are really easy, like really easy to do. And yet somehow we will go out of our way to master something very difficult for us to show. I don't know what we're trying to show, but how important we are or how smart we are, or maybe we think it's a nicer career, or it's more flattering, or whatever the case may be. So what we want to do is shift that, change that, stop that. Yes, stop that. And instead begin to say, okay, my gift is this. So I like to talk, obviously. that's a given. But when I was a child, I was told to shut up more often than not. You talk too much. You are too much. So I got this message a lot. So it took me a while to kind of overcome that conditioning and to start actually liberating myself where I could tell the truth. I mean, even the truth about being queer, because that's something that I hid because in my mind, I wouldn't be accepted. And, maybe for you, that's true as well. But the truth is that each and every one of us will be accepted and loved by some and not by others. And that's just the way it's going to be. What we want to do is make sure that we surround ourselves with people who are kind, compassionate, and well-meaning, and not put ourselves in places where we're going to be, picked on or bullied or whatever the case may be. Okay. So we really want to celebrate our true identity. And, I sometimes think about in the world, there's, if you go to a museum, you'll see these great tapestries. I mean, they're gorgeous. I mean, how many zillion hours it took to make them, I have no idea, but they're really beautiful. What's interesting about a tapestry is it's just so many threads all pulled together to create an image. Now, interestingly, if one thread is missing, just one, your eye would fall to that spot. You would see the error, the mistake, the break in continuity, whatever it is, but you would notice it, the flaw. But when we look at all the mix of colors, all of them play a role. And if every thread were there, we would look at the whole thing going, wow, it's beautiful. But some people would look at it and go, oh, is that ever ugly? I don't like those colors. I don't like this. I don't like that. So part of loving ourselves and coming to terms with ourselves and really having pride in who we are, whether we're part of the LGBTQ plus community or not, we need to be proud of who we are. We need to find strength and wisdom in the work that we do and the way that we do it. We need to show up with friends and family as our unique self. Because when we do that, we can, in fact, fulfill what it is we're here to do. So life is a journey, and it has no destination. Might want to write that down. There is no destination. You know, we try so hard. I hear people say, oh, well, when I retire, oh, when I have kids, oh, when I get married, or oh, when I graduate from university, oh, when I graduate from college, or oh, when I graduate from high school, or oh, you know, I wish my husband did things differently. I wish my wife did things differently. Wishing and hoping ain't gonna make it happen. So we have to learn how to communicate more effectively. We have to be in a place of willingness to be seen. And if we're not, that's okay. If we're uncomfortable, just be aware of that. And ask yourself, what is my gift? What is the one thing I do that I've always been able to do super easy? For me, it's talking. For some people, it might be cooking. For some others, it might be sewing or gardening, or it doesn't matter what it is. Every single thing has value. You know, I remember a number of years ago when the garbage men or garbage people went on strike in Toronto. Man. After 2 weeks, everybody was looking at the garbage, the garbage folk in a whole new light. Grateful for every one of them. Because that strike went on for a while. In the summertime, of course, when it's very, very stinky, when garbage doesn't get picked up. So, the garbage man, the person who cleans your house, the dry cleaner, the guy who's driving the truck that's cleaning the streets or painting the lines, the president, the prime minister, a famous actor. I don't care who you are. No one is more special than anyone else. You might be more famous or infamous. It doesn't make you better. It makes you unique. Right, and we all are. If we start to see all of us as unique and special, we begin to see ourselves as unique and special. What happens is we'll start living from that awareness that I am the right person at the right time doing the right stuff. If I'm living from my purpose. Now, a lot of people, are putting in time. I don't know how many people I've known over the years who go, oh, I can't wait to retire. And then they retire, and in a year they pass on. Or somebody who's been angry all their lives, just angry all the time. And they die of a heart attack at 42. Who dies of a heart attack at 42? That's pretty young. The things that we think, the way that we behave, all of it is impacting the body. The mind builds the body. And so we want to make sure that we pay attention to our body, make sure that we're paying attention to the things that are going on around us, make sure that we are supporting our own growth and expansion, and just make sure that we're honoring the people around us. If we begin to see that everyone matters, what a different world that would be. What an incredibly different world. It would be more compassionate, I think, more respectful. So what is it that you like to do more than anything else? And, some people want to, lay on the beach. Somebody else wants to, vacation somewhere warm, or go skiing all the time, or there's all sorts of different things that we really, really love. Me, I love sitting outside in my backyard and just enjoying the beauty of it, the sound of the birds. It's really lovely to just be back here and enjoying nature. What is it that you love? I love to teach new ideas. Always have. Always have. Even as a kid, I would be trying to help my friends learn things, discover things. It was like what I would always do. And so there's no difference now. I'm just doing it in a little different way. But all of it has value, and you have value as well. So I want you to really look at yourself and look at your life. And if you're not sure what your life purpose is, it's not your job, by the way. It might be, but not necessarily. Your life purpose is more of a quality of being. And if you begin to live your life purpose, you will probably discover really how easy life could be. Because it gets easier when we're living authentically. So that's the purpose of this show. Live authentically, be you, celebrate, laugh, sing, dance, play. Do whatever makes you feel good. When was the last time you skipped down the street? You know, doing that little hippity hop thing? I know I haven't done it in a long time, but I remember doing it with my grandchildren. We were at the zoo or wherever, just skipping. Hop, skip, and a jump. It was so fun. So what are we doing? How are we doing it? Where are we doing it? And do we feel accepted? Do we feel loved? And are we putting ourselves in places where we don't belong, trying to fit in desperately? Or are we finding our own group, our own community? I think finding a community that loves and accepts us is one of the most powerful things we can do. Discover what you love and do that. Find ways to do it as often as possible. The journey that we're on is individual and unique. No two people are walking the same path. And that's the truth. I mean, it might seem similar, but it's not the same. So celebrate you. You know, Pride Month is all about celebration and really acknowledging your uniqueness and your brilliance and your beauty and your grace and all that good stuff. And we want to make sure that as we celebrate the uniqueness of ourselves, that we really pay attention to the uniqueness of others as well. Like, how many times have you been sitting on the subway or on a bus, or, you know, being a passenger in a car driving along, and you're looking at people on the street and you're going, oh, look at that coat. Ugh. Oh, look at that person. Oh, they're... Ever do that? Ever look around and judge the people around you in your mind, not actually saying it out loud? But here's a tip. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, don't say it. Don't think it. Catch yourself and stop it. If you wouldn't say it to that person directly, stop yourself from making the mistake of thinking those negative thoughts. And because you're not speaking them, there's only one person they can impact. That would be you, nobody else. So I know when I was younger, you know, I always wanted to be around people who were really beautiful. I just loved being around beautiful people. Now, when I was around beautiful women, I felt less than. And when I was around really beautiful men, I felt unworthy. And yet somehow wanted to be around people that I would call beautiful. Why? I think there was a part of me that thought, I'm not that, so let me surround myself with that. I don't know what the story was, but whatever it wasn't working for me. And I found myself sometimes with friends that weren't really friends. You know, they were people who spent time with me, but didn't necessarily appreciate, respect, or really admire or enjoy me that much. But it's like better than nothing, kind of. Have you ever done that? I think I did that at least once when I got married, thinking, oh, well, this will do for now. What a horrible thought to have on your wedding day, to know that somehow it wasn't going to work. But we have these thoughts running, we have these things going on, and we really need to edit. Not just what we speak out loud, but what we're thinking in our head. We need to pay attention to all of it. All of it has value. And all of it is creating the life that we're living. Do you know where hell is? Right here. Yeah. I mean, think about it for a minute. You know, Mary Jo one day said to you, you're the worst person ever. You've got these terrible habits and I really don't like you. Now, that was when you were 8. Well, now you're 75. And you keep remembering what Mary Jo said when you were 8. You keep bringing that message forward. And every time you think about it, you feel bad. Yeah, that'd be hell. See, I don't think heaven and hell are vacation destination points. I think they're states of consciousness. And when I relive negative experiences, I am, in fact, putting myself in a very, very destructive place. I am being very, very disrespectful to me because I'm creating a scenario that is over and done. It's been over and done forever. And yet somehow I bring it back and I remember it. And then I feel bad when I remember it. And how many times have I remembered it throughout my life? When somebody does something to us that is harmful, when somebody says or does something that is hurtful, we have a choice about whether or not we attach to it. You know, as a professional speaker, I remember hearing a minister talk one day about giving a talk one Sunday morning, and he's at the front of the church and he's giving his message, and in the front row there's a gentleman right in front of him that's just sitting there the whole time doing this. Oh, just shaking his head back and forth, back and forth. And the speaker is getting really kind of messed up by it. And he's trying to look over his head, and he's trying to look in the other direction, but his eye just keeps coming back to this guy. And he's thinking, oh man, he's just not getting my message at all. So at the end of the service, he's standing by the door and shaking hands with people. And this man who was sitting in the front row comes up to him. And you know, the speaker's thinking, oh man. But the guy comes up to him and he turns around and he goes, oh my God, that was the best talk ever. I can't believe I've lived my whole life not knowing this. Thank you so much. And the whole time he's shaking his head no. Shaking his head no. And what he's meaning is, yes, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But in his mind, he's going, oh, I should have done it differently. Why did I do that? I could have done this. The messages that we receive. So here's this minister who is continually feeling like somehow his message isn't being received. But it was. What we think about is not always true. We make assumptions. We misinterpret information. Somebody will say something to us and we'll receive it in a different way than what it was meant. I think the best thing we can do in this lifetime is to find our voice, accept it and love it, even if it's squeaky, whatever it is. Whatever it is we love, find importance and value in it, because there is value, or it wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing it. and really celebrate who you are. Have pride in your life and experiences. One of the exercises I sometimes give to my students is that at the end of every day, to write a gratitude list. 3 things that I'm really grateful for today. And to write those things out and to really feel the gratitude of them. And then the other thing is to write one thing, just one, that you're proud of. One thing you did that day, one thing you said that day, one thing that happened that day that you feel really proud of yourself. And write that down. Yeah. When was the last time you felt really proud of all that you'd accomplished? When was the last time you looked at yourself and went, wow, I'm a good person? And you weren't saying it to someone to try and get them to see you as a good person, but rather within your own reflective thinking, you were like, wow, that was a kindness that you did. I'm glad you did that. I'm really glad you did that. I'm glad you acted that way. And then there's times that we do crap. We're all guilty of that. We say or do things we wish we didn't. But once it's out, and you can't take it back. But what a wonderful thing to turn around and just to sit back and say, wow, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to be inappropriate or unkind. My sincere apologies for saying that. Somebody comes up to us and goes, you made a mistake. Oh, what happened? What did I do? And they tell you. The most important thing you can do in that moment is just go, wow, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. My sincere apologies. I did not mean to do that. We tend to defend. I made a mistake. Somebody brings it to my attention and I get mad at them for bringing it to my attention. But really what we should do is thank them because they brought it to our attention. It's time for us to get real. It's time for us to, show up in ways that honor who we are, but honor the people around us as well. And begin to see each and every person as unique and special, just like us. And to celebrate all of it. All of it. Your good days and your bad. The ones that you call bad are teaching you something. So really, they're not bad. They're learning opportunities. So we stop, saying things are good and bad, and we start just going, oh, that's an experience I'd rather not have again. Very different from saying it was bad. So we begin to go, oh, okay, I could do that differently. Or, oh, wow, thank you for telling me that. I had no idea. We begin to look at these messages of correction as just that, just an opportunity to become more aware, to maybe correct a behavior that's not serving us or others. You see, it's up to us. It's up to us to decide what things mean to us. And I had somebody do a little thing one day that I thought was very, very interesting. They held up a book and said, what do you see? Now, you might look at this and go, well, I see the title of the book, and I see a feather on the book. And I might look at it and go, no, that's not what's there. I see a bench, and I see a bunch of words. Who's right? Both of us. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. We all see something different. We all view the world a little different because we come at it with different skills and talents, different upbringings, different ways of being, and none of it's to be thought of as I'm useless or worthless because of. We want to sit back and say, because of my resilience, I have not only survived that, but I've thrived. I see myself as who I really am, and I'm willing to absolutely love what I see. That's the journey. Love what you see, love who you are, be who you are, and just remember you're fully human, fully divine, and be fully you. So we're just down to our last couple of minutes here, and I always like to end each show with, what do I think is the most important thing from this episode that I would want you to remember? And I think the most important thing I would want you to remember today is that you were created perfect, whole, and complete. You are unique and special, like everyone else, and you should be celebrated. Have pride in who you are. Have pride in the journey that you've walked. Love yourself regardless of every mistake you've ever made. Let the mistakes go. Learn from them and leave them behind. What's in the past no longer exists. It's in the past. And what's way in the future, well, it doesn't exist either, because the future does not exist. But what does is now. This now moment. So I invite you to get present, to live your life fully and completely as a remarkable, celebrated, beautiful individual, and live your life as fully and as passionately and as joyfully as you can. Keep in mind you are fully human, fully divine, and fully you. And who you are matters. Yes, it does. And you are enough. Well, I'm so glad you could watch today, and I'm delighted that you're here every week when I'm here. It's always wonderful to see all of you. And I just want to say, I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if it's a good one. Don't leave no crap comments. Don't want those. Leave me something beautiful. Share your unique gifts or talents. And go through life knowing that there's no mistake. You're not a mistake. You are, in fact, created perfectly. So on that note, knowing that you've liked, shared, and subscribed, we're on the New Thought Media Network. And, you could turn around and make sure that this network keeps on the air for the long haul. Send a donation. Go to ntmedia.org, hit that donate button, and make it a recurring donation. $10, $20, $50, $1,000, whatever you'd like to do. And just know that this particular station will be around for the long haul. Whether it's the radio station that you listen to every day here on New Thought Media Network with positive music, or if it's the shows that run every day of the week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And this Pride Month, really celebrate and be proud of who you are and where you are in the world. Bye for now.